third story this morning, some of these are just duh, right? But we're talking about diagnosing autism in the pandemic. And this is an article from the New York Times. And the New York Times is saying that this is even harder in COVID, which I think we all would go, duh. But they brought up something that maybe hasn't been at the uppermost of all of our minds, that part of why it's harder is because our kids have not had the opportunity to socialize with each other. And that is when
Hold on, I lost a light. I'm getting technical assistance here.
Oh, all right. Get yourself some light here. But part of the difficulty is that, and for us, Nancy, I know when we were home with our kids when they were little, we may have thought that something was up with our kiddos, but we really didn't really notice it until we saw them around other kids.
Right.
And we kind of compared notes and went, wait a second, these 3-year-olds are doing X, Y, and Z, and mine isn't. And that juxtaposition of seeing your kids up against other kids and going, I don't, and that's what spurs a lot of us to go to the doctor.
Exactly.
And the New York Times is saying,
if you don't have a point of comparison, it's very difficult to know developmentally where your child should be.
Yes. And so this is making it harder for parents and that some parents are home with kids who are hysterical and inconsolable, and the parents are thinking that it's them and that, something is wrong with their parenting, and they're not going to the doctor and saying, perhaps you should look at my child for autism. So I just want to say to anybody who's found their way here, it's because you have a question about autism. And it's better to ask than to not ask. And sometimes you will ask, like Nancy and I did the first time we went and asked, is my child, are they developing the way that they should be? Or is there something I should be concerned about? We were told no, and we had to come back and ask again. So I'm asking for all of you to honor that little voice that goes, is this the way it's supposed to be? Now, having said that, in conjunction with, somebody just wrote it in and said, quick question, why do people think there's a cure for autism? If it ain't broken, don't fix it. And I can't thank you enough for writing that in, because I think that's the other part of this conversation that we all wrestle with. That when you look at your child and your child is tantruming and your child isn't developing in that typical way, does that mean something's wrong with your child? Does that mean something's wrong with you? And I, for one, want to say we don't put things into different categories and call them good or bad. But what do you want for yourself? For the person who wrote that in, who said, why do people, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? I have lots of friends. Nancy has lots of friends, people who are on the autism spectrum, that I wouldn't change one iota. Not one iota. They are beautiful people. There is nothing wrong with them. I would like to be more like them. Let's just put that out there. I think the way their brains work is beautiful. Like, I would like to have my brain work more like my son's brain works. Total, hand to God, right? But there were times when my son, pardon the dog, there were times when my son was younger where he couldn't do what he wanted to do. Somebody, I need help, or I want chives on my baked potato. And just like any kind of learning, if you say to me, I want to learn how to ski, who am I to say you can't ski? And you might come to me and say, I want to ski, but you might be missing one leg. Guess what? You can still ski. If you want to ski, baby, let's ski. We'll find a way for you to ski. And I think that people have the right to be able to communicate. I think that everyone has the right to be able to learn. And in our very ableist society, for a long time, people were told, well, if you can't learn the way we all learn at school, then you don't get to come to school. And IDEA changed that and said, no, we'll take all learners. And if you need to learn in a different way, we will teach you in a different way. So I for one, want to say that, I think the curing autism, I think that nobody says that anymore.
Right.
But I think supporting autism, helping people with autism to learn the skills that are important to them, helping them to be able to do everything that they want to be able to do in life, that's what I'm about. And I think, Nancy, you're the same way.
Absolutely. Um, many times our kids that are diagnosed don't have the skills they need to succeed, and that's what we're for, providing them with those skills. Shannon, this article at the very end had some good um, suggestions for what
Yeah.
parents should look out for.
Share with us.
And this is adapted from Quirky Kids. A baby babbles by 6 months, and the babble increases in complexity. By 9 months, a baby responds to his or her name. By 15 to 18 months, a child can say some words and follow simple directions. By 18 months, a child can put two words together. By 2.5 to 3, a child can speak in simple sentences with some fluency and inflection. A question sounds like a question. By 4 months, babies make eye contact and respond with social smiles. By 1 year, they can point to show interest and wave goodbye. From about 2, they respond to other children and can interact in games with some back and forth.
There we go. Great, great, great things to look at. And if you take your child to be looked at for autism, I want you to know that there are great resources to help your child. The person that asked the question about cure said, also the fact that people think that electroshock therapy works for curing autism, it's just torture that's legal. It's also incurable thing. It's a different brain structure. And we agree with you. Here at Autism Live, we completely concur with you. Electroshock therapy is not a form of therapy. It is for autism. It may be for other things. I can't know about that. But electroshock therapy is not something for autism. It is torture. We are completely opposed to the Judge Rottenberg Center and what it does. I want to throw up on them. Let me state that across the board. Anybody who ever would think about putting a child there, I want to tell you, don't. They are horrible, and I'm 100% clear on that. I know, Nancy, that you felt the same way.
Absolutely.
We do not, we're here at Autism Live, we're about celebrating the individual and helping them to be all that they want to be and providing the resources for them to be all that they want to be. And that it has to be driven by that we not try to overlay onto people. Look, how I make contact is not how everybody needs to make eye contact. And that's that whole thing of awareness and to go to acceptance. We need to teach employers to not judge whether someone is trustworthy by how much they make eye contact. That's exactly the difference in the shift and the way we think about things that we're hoping to get to. So I love that you're here. I want you to know we're allies, that we agree completely with you. Hey, I'm also saying, and Christina says, my son's superpower is autism. Absolutely. Somebody else said, hi, Shannon and Nancy. You ladies are doing a remarkable job informing many people around the world, including me. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So Nancy, and Johanny says, I totally agree. Diagnosing now has to be crazy hard because our family is in a standstill. We are in therapy, but feel we are not moving forward as well as we did before. And we really can't find new providers. I'm so sorry to hear that, Johanny. And somebody else said this is an important discussion. Yes, I totally, we're getting comments now about the electroshock thing in the Judge Rottenberg Center. It's appalling. It's absolutely horrible. If I knew what to do to shut them down, I would do it. I can't even, I get sick to my stomach when I think about it. If you feel the need to know more about them, be prepared. It's very triggering and very upsetting, but 60 Minutes has covered them. It's horrible, horrible what they do there. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.